The story The Snow Queen. Little geniuses. Once upon a time, in a small snow-covered village, there were two children who were the best friends in the world, Gerda and Kay. They lived in neighboring houses and shared a garden full of beautiful flowers in summer. They were inseparable, always playing together, tending to their rose bushes and telling each other stories. But one day, something terrible happened. Far away lived an evil goblin who had created a magic mirror. This mirror warped all that was good and beautiful, making it appear ugly and horrible, while magnifying all that was bad. The elves carried the mirror all over the world, making fun of beautiful things. One day, they tried to take it to heaven, but it fell and shattered. The fragments of the mirror were scattered around the world, and some fell into people's eyes or hearts, filling them with coldness and sadness. One of those fragments reached Kay's heart. Suddenly, he stopped playing with Gerda and started making fun of everything. The things he once loved seemed boring to him. His heart had grown cold, and his eyes only saw the ugly. One winter morning, while Kay was playing with her sled, she saw a large white sleigh pulled by horses. In it was a very tall woman, dressed in a bright white cloak. She was the Snow Queen. She called out sweetly, and when Kay approached, she invited him upstairs. At first Kay hesitated, but the Snow Queen kissed him on the forehead, and the kiss made him forget everything: Gerda, his home, and the warmth of love. When Kay didn't come home, Gerda became very worried. He looked for him all over the village, but no one knew where he was. Finally, he decided to go on a long journey to find him. First, Gerda went to the river and asked if she had seen Kay. He threw his shoes into the water as an offering. The river answered her by taking her to the house of a kind old woman who lived in an enchanted garden full of flowers. The old woman wanted Gerda to stay with her, so she used magic to make him forget his mission. But one day, Gerda saw a rose and remembered Kay and her garden. He decided to move on. On her journey, Gerda encountered many people and creatures who helped her. First, a raven told him about a boy who lived in a nearby palace. Although it wasn't Kay, the crow and his girlfriend helped her continue her search. Then, she was captured by bandits, but a bandit girl let her escape, giving her a reindeer named Bay, which took her closer to the Snow Queen's palace. When Gerda arrived in the Arctic, the icy wind and snow surrounded her, but her love for Kay was so strong that it didn't stop. Finally, he arrived at the Snow Queen's ice palace. The castle shone like diamonds, but it was cold and lonely. There he found Kay sitting by a frozen lake, trying to form a word out of chunks of ice. The Snow Queen had said that if she managed to form the word eternity, she would set him free. But Kay was so cold that he couldn't think or feel. Gerda ran to him and hugged him. Her warm tears fell on her chest and melted the mirror fragment in her heart. Kay began to cry as well, and her tears washed away the fragments of her eyes. Now he could see Gerda and remember everything they had shared. Together, Kay and Gerda's hands formed the word eternity with the pieces of ice. The Snow Queen lost her power over Kay, and the ice began to melt. The palace disappeared, and the sun shone for the first time in a long time. Gerda and Kay returned home, where everything was still the same, but they had changed. They had learned the value of love, friendship, and courage. Her garden bloomed again, and the roses were more beautiful than ever. And so, they lived happily, little geniuses, always remembering that even in the darkest of times, true love can melt the coldest ice.